homage to the Venerable Monk Liao-Ming, homage to Master Sakya Thongkong, the Shungden Puchi, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, homage to Master Dukden Dorji, homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Amitabha Tathagata of the Western Paradise. Homage to Guan Yin Bodhisattva. Homage to Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattva. Semu Tanchen Jatso Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. And our VIPs tonight are Madam to Ambassador Daniel Liao, the Taipei rep to Sweden and Norway, Dharma Sister Judy, accountant to Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, and Greenfield Holding Investment, a royal investment company of the UAE, United Arab Emirates, Dharma Sister Lin Kun Yin. Producers for the Geni Diansang Shinten from TDI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi. Good evening, everybody. How do you do? So today we perform Amitabha Tathagata Deity Yoga. For any Buddhist would know Amitabha Buddha. Everyone knows Amitabha Buddha, and he delivered the most sentient beings and closest to sentient beings. One time, someone asked Master Nona from Xikang and asked him, what is the greatest Dharma of all tantric Dharma? And his reply was Amitabha Dharma practice. So the great Dharma of Amitabha is the greatest Dharma of Tantrayana. Sometimes we think, how come Amitabha Dharma is the greatest Dharma? Isn't the greatest Buddha, the Adharma Buddha, and the greatest Vajra protector is Mahotara Heruka? from the Master Nola from Kham. So Dorje Chang is the same as the Ardharma Buddha or Samantabhadra Tathagata. Or Dorje Chang or Vajradhara. He should be the greatest because he's a primordial Buddha. So his Dharma should be the greatest. But Master Nona of Kham explained that the one that is closest and most connected with the samsara, with the Sahavat, is Amitabha Tathagata. So, Amitabha Buddha and sentient beings are very, very close. So Sakyamuni Buddha should have been the founder of samsara. He should be closest to sentient beings. But then, how come it's Amitabha Buddha too? So although Sakyamuni Buddha is the founder of samsara's Buddhism, and he spoke and it taught Buddha Dharma, made lots of them. And his Buddhism spread from India to Southeast Asia, and from Southeast Asia to Tibet, to China, to Korea, to Japan. And of course, it's in Sri Lanka and Indonesia. But it's very strange that when Buddhists greet each other, nobody would chant Sakyamuni Buddha. So when you greet each other, you would say Amitabha. So it's correct to chant Amitabha. But in the movies, in the Eastern movies, when a monk greets another monk, they would say Om Amitabha. So that's misguiding people. It's not all. And all means black in Taiwanese. Because that's not the black-faced Golden Mother. But we should say Amitabha. But in the movies, they would always say Amitabha. I can't stand it. Because it was acted by the fake monks. The true monks would say Amitabha. Like from the Om Ah, home, the Ah. Not O, but Ah. So when we greet each other, we would say Amitabha. And we all strive to go to the Western Buddha land. And he is closest to the sentient beings in samsara. So the great Dharma of Amitabha, we can say, is also closest to sentient beings. And there is the little Amitabha Sutra, the medium Amitabha Sutra, and then the Buddha of Infinite Life Sutra and Buddha, and also the scriptures of being reborn into the Pure Land. So the Pure Land sect is according to the Amitabha Sutra. The Sutra of the Buddha of Infinite Life, and also the discourse on the reborn in the Pure Land to establish the Pure Land sect. So primarily they would chant Amitabha Buddha's name. They don't teach us about visualization, etc., just by chanting the name of Amitabha Buddha. They continually chant Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo, until you're in full concentration, and then at the moment of death, you can also chant Namo Amitabha. If you're in full concentration, Amitabha Buddha would appear in front of you and guide you to be reborn into the Pure Land. And the Trinity of the Pure Land would also, of the West, would also appear. So in Tantayana, it is called the simple path or the easy path. However, to be single-minded is not easy. In single-mindedness, you have to chant the Buddha's name in full concentration until your moment of death. Then Amitabha, Guan Yin, and Mahastama will come and guide you. So in Taiwan or Japan, there is the Pure Land sect in Japan, and the true Pure Land sect, and in Taiwan too, there is the Pure Land sect. So they chant Amitabha's name by upholding the light, by chanting the Amitabha's name. And this sutra is like it's spoken without being questioned, being asked. So nobody asks Sakyamuni Buddha, but the Buddha spoke about it, because most sutras were given by Sakyamuni Buddha because someone asked. But this Amitabha Sutra was a sutra that was spoken by the Buddha himself without being asked. Why? He could guide so many beings to be reborn into the Pure Land, because his Pure Land are 4 levels. The first one is the Pure Land of both sages and mundane beings. So, like if you have a heavy karma, but you're single-minded in chanting Amitabha's name at the moment of death, they can go to the Pure Land, but it's not a very high realm, and the realm is the realm of common Pure Land of both sage and mundane beings. So that Pure Land is the place where beings still have karma. So even when you still have karma, you can go to a Pure Land, and that's the Pure Land. And the next Pure Land is the majestic Pure Land. That's a little bit higher. And the highest one is the complete extinction Pure Land. And the highest realm is the realm of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. and the second level Pure Land, and the third level Pure Land, and the last Pure Land. So, if you can be in full concentration at the moment of death, you can still go to the Pure Land at the lowest realm, which means even when you still have karma, you can go to the Pure Land if you're in full concentration. But you cannot go to the other Pure Lands. So, if you're just a mundane being and you still have karma, you can. The most you can go is the Amitabha Pure Lands of both mundane and sages combined. So they ask, like, how about those with karma? How about those after karma being eradicated? Then you can go to the highest realm and the second highest realm. But if you still have karma, you can go to the third and the last or the fourth level of the Pure Land. So when they argue, some people say that you have to eradicate karma before you can be reborn into the Western Paradise or the Buddha Amitabha's Pure Land. And the opponent would say that, of course you can go even when you have karma. So of course you can go when you don't have karma anymore, but if you still have karma, you can also go, because you can go to the third and fourth level of the Pure Land. You know, of course, in my opinion, if you have completely eradicated your karma, of course you can go to the Western Paradise. But even when you still have karma, you can still go. So the realm where there are both sages and mundane beings, and then after certain time, then you can also become sages in that realm. So you all are familiar with Amitabha Buddha. Although we practice Tantric Buddhism, but we still chant Amitabha Buddha's name. Namo 36,119,500 Buddhas of the same name and identification of Amitabha Buddha. So we also chant Amitabha Buddha's name. So if you don't have attainments in your Tantric Dharma practice, but you have attainment in your Pure Land Dharma practice, you can still go to Pure Land. So although you don't have attainments in your Tantric practice, but if you follow us in our chanting of Amitabha Buddha, you can also go to the Pure Land. It's quite difficult. Spiritual cultivation is really quite difficult. Okay, Master will share a joke. Xiao Ming has a very low, feels very low, and then pray to the at the temple. And then after praying, before leaving, there was a great master who asked, "Have you put it down?" And he replied, "I have put down all the miseries." And the master shook his head and asked again, "Have you put down?" "Yes, all my attachments." And the master shook his head again and said, "Have you put it down?" And Xiao Ming felt that there's some Zen. there's some Zen meaning in these questions, and said, I have let go, or I have put down all my ego. And the master shook his head again, and Xiao Ming Kun became impatient and asked, what else I have not put down? And the master replied, it's the offerings for the incense and lamb. What kind of master is that? It's master money, because his family name is money. So in this world, you can put down everything except money. No matter what. Oh, thank you to Dharma Sister Kuan Yin to make so many offerings, and I have to hug them in my sleep. That would be quite difficult. Because we have to put such expensive items in the safe deposit box or in the safe. These are like thousands of years old. It's transparent, very bright. Several thousand years old. An expensive item. So we have to keep them in the safe. But for elderlies, we often forget the code to the safe. So we have put it in, and then whoever that remembers it would take it away. Like all these jewels, like this 200-year-old jewel. And it's valuable. And I don't want to say, I don't dare to say it here. Otherwise, you may want to get into my house in the middle of the night. Have you put it down? Yes, you should. Because all these items can be resolved with one phrase. Just for you, for your enjoyment for a few decades. So you put it there, you look at it, you touch it, and then one day it would be seen and touched by other people. So anyone with the realm of enlightenment would understand. Only that great master could not put down, could not let go. I will leave a phrase before I leave the world. It's not related to me. I am not related to anything. If you can comprehend what this means, then you can definitely be reborn into the Pure Land and have attainments. So my last words would just be 3 Chinese words, not like Master Seng Yen wrote a long verse and then he wrote it wrong in the last phrase, because he wrote that I can abandon life and death. So I corrected it, because there are no life and death to be abandoned. So Master Seng Yen from the Flower Drum School, he was the founder of the Huagu Mountain. And he wrote the verse the wrong way because he thought they are still life and death. That's why he abandoned the life and death. But for Grandmaster, his realm is that there is no life and there is no death. But isn't that life for Grandmaster? And in the future, you would die and you would enter into nirvana, so there is death. Why do you say there is no life and death? Only in this short period of time of 100 years, there is life or birth and death. But beyond this 100 years, where is life, where is birth, where is death? Let me ask you, where were you before birth? And where are you? Where will you be after death? So the real Zen is no birth and no death. In Zen Buddhism, that's the case. But this Zen master did not even know. And he wrote that he had abandoned birth and death. Actually, there is no birth and no death to be abandoned. That's all I would say. Let me share another joke. This joke is not funny. I have to read it so long and it's not funny. The teacher asks the class, do you see God? Can you see God? And the students replied, no. Can you touch God? And all the students in the class replied, no. And the teacher asked again, that means there's no God. And then Xiaoming raised his hand and asked, teacher, huh? Can you see your brain? No. Can you touch your brain? And the teacher said, no. And then Xiaoming said, that means you have no brain. And then the teacher replied, get out of here. So we all should know. You cannot know or see 10 million years ago. Like China has a history of 5,000 years. The four great ancient stories, China, Egypt, Babylon, and India. These are the oldest civilizations on earth. So 10 million years ago, you don't know, you haven't seen it. But does it exist? Yes. Or even a billion years? Yes, exists, because the earth has existed for a very long time. So you cannot say that it doesn't exist. Because we cannot see it, we cannot say that it doesn't exist. It's impossible. There are so many things we can't see, like the germs. Only in the lab they can see the germs, the bacteria and the virus. And there are many existences that you can't see with your eyes. Now let's talk about Lamdre.
气，则习止事业成就。
If it is the qi of the
火
water,
气，则怀爱事业成就。风气，则现行
it is to
诸
accomplish
福事业成就，诸事业无碍成就。有映入他人命气之道，能偏观他之内部，宜得到他行通。是 切合过犯。
one can accomplish the work of purification, but the wind qi is for subjugation, and the fire qi, the work of harmony and love. So 4 kinds of work can be accomplished with no hindrances. And by entering into the path of other people's life energy, one can observe the internal parts and attain the transcendent power of knowing other people's mind. So if you practice qi, like there are many elements inside our body, like the 4 elements, the earth, water, fire, and wind. Like here in Lamdre, it talks about the water qi. It can increase your merits and good fortune inside your body. So the water qi can increase your good fortunes. So like in your Dharma practice, if you encounter water, and water represents wealth, that means you would have enhanced good fortune. And then if you have attainments in your fire qi, then one can accomplish the work of harmony and love. So if you have attainments in your fire practice, then you would have perfect love, whether it's the great love or small love, but without the horrible love. So if the fire qi has become pure, then you naturally will emit light. Just by standing there, once you have attainment in your inner fire practice, just even by sitting there would be many people wanting to take refuge in you. That's the great love, or the great magnetism or attraction. Like the famous singers, they must have practiced, because in their fire and their light would attract many people. Or the leaders of the nations, or the famous entertainers are all like that. That's the practice of fire. And then by the practice of the wind, as you know, so all the Vajra protectors and Herukas were emanated or manifested from wind. So your work of subjugation will succeed, and you would be very authoritative. You would have authority, and you would be able to destroy all your enemies and obstructions. That's the accomplishments of wind practice. If you enter into the path of other people's life energy, that's the transference of consciousness. So you transport your own qi into an animal. So when the animal is about to die and the animal becomes alive again, that's called the transference of consciousness. So if you can enter into other people's heart, you would immediately know the internal parts of their bodies, and you would also have the transcendent power of knowing other people's mind, so you know what they're thinking.
当你的气能够出来进入到
If
别
your
人的
qi
心中的时候，
can
你就
exit
可以知道
and
对方
enter
在想
into other people's hearts, then you would know what they are thinking.
所以修气非常的重要。
That's why the qi practice is extremely
第一
important.
个，你得到水气，
So by practicing qi, if you attain the water qi,
你的静爱
you would
心
have
就成就，
purification
你得到风气，
accomplishment. The fire qi, the harmony
事业就
work,
成就，
and the wind qi is the work of subjugation.
它可以除掉你修气成就以后，你还可以
Once you have
除掉
attainments in your qi practice,
很多
you
危险
can eliminate
这些障碍可以除掉，
dangers and obstructions,
像掉落悬崖，
like falling
或
off
者
the
爬山
cliffs
的灾难，
or accidents in the
或者
mountains,
雷电被雷打
or
到
due to
雷电打到
thunders
意外的命运，
or
皆
strikes
不
by
能够
lightning.
伤害你，
Nothing will
你的
obstruct
寿
you,
命
and
得
your
到
life
自然。
will gain self-mastery.
一些危险的事情都不会发生在你身上，
Danger
不会
will not
像
happen
我
to
们
you,
现在最容易发生的就是像
will not
车
touch you.
祸啦、
Like
车
nowadays,
祸这些事情。
the most common one is car accidents
这个亡难就是说，国家跟国家的这些
or
叫做亡难，
national disputes,
意外的灾难，
disputes between
自
nations,
由的灾难，
disasters, natural disasters due to avalanche or flood or windstorm
地裂，
or the crack of the earth and the avalanche of the
所有人
mountains,
开车都很小心。
landslides.
看见跟着一部车子，但是那部车子突然
So in America,
然后我们就很开始
as we drive, if you
因为
drive,
前面的桥段
because bridges would break. So if you drive following the cars in front of you and all of a sudden the car disappears, you have to brake, put on the brake
掉到这个说桥底下。
because the cars fell off the bridge.
美国的这个公路虽然是四通八达，
So the highways in America
都已经
and
围桥已经
are very progressive, but
都是
there are many broken bridges because they are already like antiques. They are already hundreds of years old.
那天美国刚刚
Also the railroads.
路啊，这个
When America was founded, they built the railroads and
海能以上都是老
the roads and the highways. So they're hundreds of years old. So they're all
有
old.
高速公路，
We have highways, or we have high-speed rails all over the world.
高速公路只有美国没有高速公路，
Only America doesn't have it.
你们也可以研究为什么美国不能够
And
有高速
you can mull it over why America doesn't have the high-speed rail or cannot have the high-speed rail.
以后啊，你可以切
After you
掉
complete the practice
所
of
有一
qi,
切的障碍，一切的
you can cut off all kinds of obstructions,
你没有什么障碍，
that you have no more obstructions.
修气，你身体也会健康。
By practicing the qi, you would also be healthy.
那跟大家讲，就是你看修气，我不是那天不是啊，从右手
The other day, this is the qi on the right hand,
转到左手，
and then moved it to the left hand.
然后从上行气
And then the upper qi and the lower qi, so the lower qi moves upward.
移到上行气，由上行气
Move to the upper
下行
qi, and then use the upper qi to push down
变成下行气，
to become the lower
然后
qi.
还有周边全身。
And then the distributing qi
那天不是讲了吗？映照
that
眼睛
reaches all parts of the body. Move to the eyes,
眼睛就可以看到
then you would be able to see all the way to those mountains and beyond. And you move it to the ears. And then the ears would be able to hear far away that someone is bad-mouthing you. You can hear very far away. And then move it to your tongue. And the tongue would listen to you to become a pointed tongue. So the flat tongue can become a pointed tongue. So the qi can reach all parts of the body. Then that's the longevity practice. And the obstructions of your lifespan would be eradicated when it appears. If there's bad thing in your body, you move the qi over there. In the morning, I first practice my eyes. I would rotate it for a total of 14 times. And then, lastly, I would open my eyes and look as far as possible. I would practice my ears. See, I don't need any glasses even for reading a book. I'm 74 already, and I never wear eyeglasses. You have never seen it, right? I still have good eyesight. And my hearing power is also good. I can hear very far. And my teeth, because I tap my teeth in the morning when I wake up, every day. Okay? I will do it so that you can hear it. Can you hear the sound of the teeth tapping? That's called tapping the teeth. But be careful, don't do it too hard because the teeth may break. So you practice your teeth. And how do you train your brain? Visualization. Visualization is to train your brain. And rotating 40 times is to train your eyes. The 9 cycle breathing is to train your nose. And the qi reaching the ears is to train your ears. And then you practice your tongue, your body. So you have to rely on this. That's all because of qi. How come such a joke? Like make a sentence, like in Chinese we have to write a sentence with these words. But this is only meaningful in Chinese. While Dad is driving, he's also looking at the beautiful girls. And Dad not only likes to play the cell phones, he also likes to see the beautiful girl. Dad If he doesn't look at the beautiful girls, he would play his cell phones.
第四个造句，即
The
使
fourth
然
sentence.
后再来一个也啊，即使爸爸在忙，也会抽。
Even when Dad is busy, he would still make time to look at the beautiful girls.
点点点，一个多，多是多啊，多。无论发生什么事，都改变不了。
Doesn't matter what
爱
happens,
美女的心，
it will never
都改变不
change
了。这个
Dad's
多改变不了
love for beautiful
爱美
girls.
女的心。另外第六个造句，
And the sixth
只有
sentence.
后面点点点是一个才能的才。爸爸只有看到美女，他
Dad
才会笑出来。
Dad only smiles when he sees beautiful girls.
啊，不是后面点点点，就是爸爸一天到晚就是爱看美女笑，
From morning till night,
笑着看美女。
if Dad doesn't smile after looking at beautiful girls, then he would be smiling when he's looking at beautiful
点点
girls.
点，后面是一个但是。
And the next,
虽然爸爸知道这样
although Dad knows
是不对的，
this is not right,
他死也不肯改。
but he would still continue to do it.
如果点点点就，如果这些让妈妈知道了，爸爸就死定了。
If we let Mom knows about this, then Dad would be dead for sure.
这是一个笑话啊。
This is just a joke.
这个很奇怪，
It's strange.
这世界上就有这些事情。
We have these things in this world.
几乎大家都是一样，
Everyone is
所有
the
男
same.
生都喜欢看美女。
All men loves beautiful girls.
啊，有男生反对的吗？
Anyone, any man opposing to this?
你们有反对看美女的吗？
Anyone opposing to look at beautiful girls?
喜欢不喜欢看美女？
Do you like
所有男生
looking at beautiful girls?
举手一下。
If you think differently, raise your
奇
hand.
怪，就是一样。啊，师尊也一样。
They are all the same, even Grandmaster.
啊，师尊也是一样的。另外有一点，师尊跟别人家不一样。
But there's one point that Grandmaster is different from other people. There's so many bad things happening in Taiwan
那女的
recently.
只要不答应他，
If
那
the
男
girl
的占有心，
doesn't
就把女的给他杀了，
doesn't agree with him anymore,
给他分尸掉，就杀了。
the possessiveness of the man
所以当
would
美女
kill
很危险。
the girl. So it's very dangerous to be a beautiful girl.
有一天呢，你要小心一点。
So the beautiful girls have to be careful. You have to look.
要找一种
You have to find the right
温
people.
和的男生，
You need to find a more gentle or
不
kind-hearted
会
man,
动手打女生的男生，
not the abusive kind of
不
man.
会把你分尸的男生，
The man that will not
很危险的。
cut you up.
现在交朋友真的好危险。
It's very dangerous
男的占有欲怎么那么
to date these days because
像
the
师尊本身来讲
possessiveness of the
我
man
在军中
was too extreme. Grandmaster
天涯
received training in the military, and
何必单恋一枝花？
there are so many flowers on earth. Why do we only care for one flower?
天涯何处
We would carve the gravity in the toilets in the military.
我们军中的这
So after I was brainwashed in the military, Grandmaster is very open-hearted. If my girlfriend or my loved one loves another man, then I would think, if the old one doesn't go, then the new one will not come. There's so many flowers on earth. Why are you so have such a hang up towards this one? Just let her go. Wish her well. If she's leaving, give her some gifts, and or maybe give her a stack of something, and please go, please go. And after you go, we will be happy because we have fire in our heart. Because after the inner fire is ignited, it's bright all over. Those who are supposed to come will come, and those who are supposed to go will go naturally. There's no need to have hang-ups about it between man and woman. Just take it lightly. Just take it lightly. But I highly respect Simu. Why? Because she truly dedicated her whole life to True Buddha School. I have no expectations from her because she really has provided great help to Buddha School and Grandmaster, and she has such perseverance and focus, and she can resolve all and any problems. She's really incredible. If she can't fully recover, or if she can't be completely healthy, it's also Grandmaster's loss. So we have to register yourself for the protection of the planet rulers. There's one key point. Someone asked the Great Master, for the new year, we have to register for the planet rulers. But do you also want to register for the so for the planet rulers is for the coming new year, but it's for the past one. Is otherwise you will not go to the new year. So the planet ruler is for the safety. So for the planet rulers is voluntary, but for anti-Zhu. Then you may die if it is voluntary. And the planet ruler is a god, so he's very big-hearted. And anti-Zhu is a human being, so you have to treat him right. Yeah, this is kind of
非常明显。
So either you pray to the God or you ask the person.
我们庙里面
So there are huge difference between the
太
two.
做吧，让大家安一安，
So we should probably
做
place that.
心就会柔软，不会那么坚强，不会看到你就抓你的耳朵。
There's no sound. This was the king. Kick out.
妈妈讲，小明上次考36分， 我打了你36下。
So you got 36 from your exam, so you beat you 36 times.
小明说哈哈。
And how about this time? How many times?
妈妈讲，
No need. Why?
因为我考了0分。
Because I get 0. So today it was Amitabha.
觉得修密教太苦，
If you feel that
要确实
Tantric Dharma practice is too difficult for you because there are some
学净土
difficult parts in Tantrayana,
净土三尊，
you can also practice the Pure Land sect. And the Trinity of Pure Land is Amitabha Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattva.
观世音菩萨跟大势至
So after we chant Buddha Amitabha's name, you want to chant Kuan Yin and Mahastama Prapta.
菩萨跟大势至菩萨，
Because the ones attending or following Amitabha Buddha is Kuan Yin Bodhisattva and Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattva. They are also very important. The attendants
阿弥陀
are
佛，这个
important.
人应该要去接引，
If the attendants are happy, then the attendant will tell Amitabha Buddha, hey, we should guide this person to the Pure Land.
是阿弥陀佛。
So that's why the attendants are important. And there are 2 attendants next to Amitabha Buddha.
是阿弥陀佛身边的2个，我讲不出来。
The 2 ... next to Amitabha Buddha.
阿弥陀佛跟世尊是相应的，
So
世尊跟阿弥陀佛
Grandmaster
也是要
has been in union, spiritual union with Amitabha Buddha.
相应。
So the same with you. Once you gain spiritual union with Amitabha Buddha, like Grandmaster, every time I encounter difficulties or on the plane, as soon as I board the plane, first I would visualize Golden Mother, my yidam, and I would start chanting the Buddha's name.
我就感应到阿弥陀佛，
And in my chanting, I would feel that Amitabha Buddha now is standing on top of my head.
为合掌，
As soon as I join my palms, so at this moment, Amitabha Buddha is standing on top of my head.
这个时候，
So at this moment, when you're flying on a plane with Amitabha Buddha standing on top of your head, you would feel at peace. There would not be any problem. On earth, in this world, at the crucial moment, it is no problem. There is no problem. I had a Mercedes-Benz before with the license plate of 546, and some people say that's bad, you have to change it, because 546 in Chinese sounds like I'm dead. How can you drive such a car? And I said, no, no, no. 546 is like nothing matters. So just changed it. Then it's good. Like as soon as I get on the plane, just like right now, just chant a few Amitabha's name, and Amitabha Buddha would be standing on top of my head, and I saw it. I saw him. And of course, you would have no problems whatsoever. So you need to train to be able like this, that as soon as you are mindful of him, then he would come. And this is called spiritual union or yogic response.